everyone, this is Keren from tuppencecoloured.co.uk. Today's project is a waterfall card. Now, waterfall cards have been around for quite some time. They're lots of fun to make and they are surprisingly easy. So let's get started. Today's project is based on a waterfall card construction. Now, a waterfall card has a long strip of card which folds back on itself. It's stuck down at one end and the free end passes underneath a slot so that it can move up and down. And we score the card at regular intervals, and on each of the score points we can adhere an image. Now in this case I've just got some Common or Garden craft card. Now the first one, it starts just underneath the fold and folds back, and then the next one folds. And you need to make sure when you're putting these on that you are just underneath the score line. Can you see? Because otherwise the mechanics won't work. And this one's got 4 stations. You can have as few or as many stations as seems good to you. And of course the finger lift tape isn't cooperating because I'm on video. There we are. Okay, this is just one to show you, so it doesn't really matter if it falls apart in the next 5 minutes because I really don't care. Now the slot needs to be wide enough, as you can see, for your image to go through. That's important, otherwise the whole thing won't work. Now the last one is stuck onto the moving strip and it's stuck onto the retainer bar to hold it down. And there you have it. So when you pull the strip, you get that effect, and that is the basis of a waterfall card. There are lots of videos and tutorials out there that show you how to make really beautiful waterfall cards, so I'm not really going to spend an awful lot of time explaining the mechanics of waterfall cards, but there it is in a nutshell. For this project today I've used the Amazing Birthday stamp set from Stampin Up, and I'm also going to be using the Banners Framelets dies, also from Stampin Up. I'm using the Coastal Cabana colour card, and I've used a piece of paper from the Maritime Designer Series paper set. Now I wanted chevrons. I didn't want just the diagonals, I wanted them to go V-ways. I wanted that kind of pattern. So I cut myself a strip 2 inches wide, and then I rotated the paper 90 degrees and I cut another strip of paper 2 inches wide, and then I fitted them together to try and get a pattern, to try and match the pattern so that it all lined up together, which is easier said than done. There we are. Get the paper the right way up and that'll match. And that'll match there. And when I had that, I put a strip of masking tape down the back of the seam, and I joined the 2 pieces together. It's ordinary painter's masking tape, the kind that you use when you're painting the house, and that's the scrap that I cut off. I used masking tape because it doesn't really matter that it isn't a very, very strong stick, because the next thing that I did was I mounted it onto a backing piece of the Coastal Cabana paper. And I have to be honest, I would not have chosen to use the Coastal Cabana paper if I were left to myself. I wouldn't have thought that it went very well at all, but you know what, Stampin' Up no better than I do, because I think that works really well. Now I also cut a strip of paper off a long edge of A4 in the Coastal Cabana, and that is going to make the workings of our waterfall. So to begin with, I needed to cut the slit into my backing card so that my slot has got somewhere to go to, and confession time. I mean, you can see that I've already done this. This is actually take 2, because for take 1 something suddenly went wrong with my lighting and there was an awful lot of flickering, and you did not want to see that. So the way I did it was I took my blade and I dropped it down at 1 centimetre, and then I cut down to the 9 centimetre mark on the ruler here. You see it? And then I moved it and I did the same thing again, started at the 1 centimetre mark and dropped it down to the 9 centimetre mark. If you haven't got a nifty little cutter like the stamping trimmer that will do that for you, you can do that with a knife and a ruler. You know, just be very, very careful about your starting and your stopping, because it's very, very easy to overshoot the runway and to wind up with something that's basically not a strip, it's chopped off the bottom. Alright, so we set that on one side for one moment. Now then, the strip of paper that's going to form the mechanics, back to the stamping trimmer again. Now this time I'm going to need the scoring blade, and I scored it at 4.5 inches, 3 3/4 inches, and 3 1/4 inches. I've only got 3 stations on this particular card. Okay, so time to put it all together. Now the first thing is to adhere. So here's my 3 bendy bits. Okay, and I'm going to turn the card over and I'm going to feed that through and try and center it. Right, now I'm going to put a little bit of tape runner on there. Ideally I should be using something like sticky strip, or possibly even wet glue, but you know how sticky strip can behave when it's on camera. It doesn't play fair at all. So there's my bit adhered, and that bit now goes down behind the back and through the slit and out at the other side. And that's my mechanics. I'm just checking that that all works very well. Okay, now then, for the decoration, and this one is probably going to be my husband's birthday card. Don't tell him, he doesn't know yet. Okay, so for the decoration, I've stamped this stamp, which is the largest stamp out of the Amazing Birthday set, and I've stamped it in Night of Navy on Whisper White, and I've mounted it onto a piece of real red, which I've cut with the banner's framelits. So I'm going to put a bit of tape runner onto there, a bit of snail, and I'm going to mount that on the centre. Now, as you'll see, there's plenty of room there for that to go through the slot. Okay, so that's what the recipient is going to see. Okay, so that's the first one. Now the second one, I've made a teeny tiny little one here. I have my reasons. I do have my reasons. So again, bit of tape runner, and again this is from the same set. So this says happy, happy, happy birthday to you, and that sits there quite nicely on the Coastal Cabana. And now the last one, which is the foundation. Now this one, as you can see, this is take 2. Great thing about card is that it has 2 sides. So, and that's why I don't stamp on screen. And I'm also going to put a little bit, just a little tiny bit along there. Okay, because that is going to sit And there's my mechanism. Right. Now, that's a little bit boring, so again, all from the same set. I've stamped out the little birthday cake. I've done that on Real Red on Whisper White, and excuse me, apparently I'm allergic to birthday cake. Who knew? So let's put that centered on there, just like that. There we go. And the card's almost done. Now, and here's the finished item. Now, you might have noticed that this finished banner has changed its appearance very slightly. That's because when I first made it, I wanted the colours to be reversed. I wanted the navy background with the white lettering on it. When I actually tried it out, it didn't work out as well as I hoped it would. So I thought, okay, we'll go the other way and we'll have white card and we'll stamp in the Night of Navy ink. But of course, I'd saved the panel, so I deconstructed it and I cut out the amazing and the today and the make, and I've just stuck them over the panel underneath so that we've got that positive negative effect. Apart from that, all that I've had to do is to mount it onto a piece of white card, which I've cut into the shape of a gatefold card, and that's it. Nice easy little project. So you can find the measurements and instructions for the card on my blog, which is www.tuppencecoloured.co.uk. If you want any of the materials that I've used in this demonstration, then get in touch with your Stampin' Up demonstrator. If you don't have a Stampin' Up demonstrator, then you can shop online, and there's a link in the description below this video. Thank you very much for watching. Bye for now, and I'll see you soon.